So this is 0.5 alpha 7. The first thing you'll notice is that the startup time takes a bit longer just to get to the main menu screen. The menu is a bit sluggish. They have done some improvements with the menu structure. Unfortunately, it's now sectioned, so I'll give an example. So here on the left, you'll probably have more scenarios than this because in the final 0.5 release, more scenarios will be added to this. So you can select a scenario. I'm just select default. This is what you would see on 0.42. You've got a few basic settings here. You can just click Start Sim. Or you can go to the Edit Scenario toolbar here, which gives you more options. So there's a few very quick things. I think viruses work correctly in this version as opposed to 0.42, so feel free to try. I don't care about viruses, so I haven't tested them. What else? I would recommend keeping Void No More off because with it on, it trains Bibites to abandon pellets into the void, which is a bit of an issue, or it was a bit of an issue in 0.42. There are workarounds in this version now. You can add worlds, which is like a new zone, change their position. Unfortunately, you can't click to drag at this point, so anyway, I'll take that away for now. Let's drop this a little bit. Usual settings. I don't know if there are any settings missing from 0.42, but there seems to be less options now. But maybe that's just my imagination. The menu screen seems quite small in comparison to 0.42. So anyway, let's just click Start for a second and increase the speed. One thing to note is, let's see if we can place a Bibit. So wait, first let's go through here quick. You've got, let's increase the speed actually, just so we can get the meat percentage here as well, showing up in the graph. So usually you get shortcut keys: O to select the oldest Bibit, G to select the oldest with the same R here. So one cool thing is the tagging. So if you select this and you call this, and then this one here, if you click on the tags, it selects a random one with that tag, so you can go back to the original two that you tagged. So that's cool. What else? These I think are pretty much the same. Nothing much has changed. Last minute they have added descriptions to do visibility at all time for the brains, which is really cool. I very much like that change. Then you've got dynamic world settings. Unfortunately, not all the settings are dynamic, but there are cool things like you can enable pellet merging if things are starting to lag a bit. You can change the fertility on the fly, so let's do that actually. I think you won't see much just yet because they have to actually consume the pellets, or you can cause the pellets to expire. So we can set meat decay. Let's disable that for now, just to give an example of what happens. But the cool thing now is you can add a plant decay. So let's add that. Increase the time. Now you really start to see. Obviously, the graph's going to change a lot, but this is where fertility is going to come into play a lot. So yeah, that's cool. Obviously, you wouldn't have this that crazy, so you set that to default. Come back to this and set plant decay. I'd probably recommend something like this, because it means over time, there's something else new. If you mouse over the plants now, you've got the state, which is how long it's going to stay there until the decay starts coming into effect and it starts shrinking. You've got the amount of energy now, which I don't think was a thing in 0.42, correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see if we've got one that's going to last shorter. Anyway, this having a decay in place is really helpful for particularly if you use the void no more setting, because obviously you won't have this wall of plants around the edges anymore, so that fixes that problem. And it also fixes the problem of them eating and then abandoning all these little small pellets. Obviously, as you know, the more pellets in the simulation, the greater the lag. Let me actually turn meat decay back on. So by having that, you can actually forego pellet merging if you don't like the pellet merge option, which will reduce the number of small pellets left lying abandoned all over the place, which is cool. So actually turn on. Oh, that looks terrible. So what else? I've got the energy. Okay, that's pretty much. You can also save preset settings as a scenario, which you can access from the main menu for a new simulation. And then there's the menu, which is a little bit different. Unfortunately, they've removed the save and load functions down here in the lower left-hand corner, which does declutter the UI a little bit, but it was quite nice to have that, as it's fairly small. Anyway, settings, you've got a few different functions now. I think overall, oh yeah, let me place a Bibit now. Color selector, pellets. So place pellets. Does that work? Yeah. So this is how you draw things. Let's do. Yeah, obviously these pellets should expire after a while. I don't know if that affects the biomass or not. Anyway, not very exciting. I don't know why that's no the mouse is not quite accurate to the cursor, it seems, in this version. Now placing a Bibit, this is a little bit different. You could choose easy Bibit or herbivore. You can see the number of synapses and so on, or you can select from file. So for example, one of these, there's a bit of a bug here I've got. And let's see what happens to these. I think the newbies will take over the simulation very quickly because they are very strong. Actually, this is interesting. They've got, I'll show you in a sec, they've got want to grow linked to, what are we looking at here? I can't quite figure this out, but there's something that makes their growth burst. You watch the maturity factor, and when it hits about between 1.5 and 1.8, we'll see. I think this is a descendant of Nubbi Competitor, which was one of the top 16 finalists in the tournament. And I think that they are even stronger Nubbi descendants than this one. No, I'm not seeing it. Anyway, overall, I think 0.5 as an update to 0.42 will probably disappoint some people. I'm sure a lot of people have been waiting a long time and they were probably expecting a bit more. But there were, I think, some groundwork overhauls done in 0.5 like the menu restructure, which doesn't really help most of us, but for the long term viability and professionality of the game, or simulation rather, I could definitely see that the menu structure overhaul was necessary. But anyway, hoping that we will have some more significant improvements in 0.6. I think there are plans for a brain structure rework. Let's find one that has a good maturity level. These ones don't seem to be doing it at the moment. Anyway, I want to show what happens if we... Goodness, that is a lot of Bibites. I think I've had up to 2,000 something before, but that's still quite a bit. Turn off meat decay and watch this. Let's turn that off because that can cause lag. You've got a ruler as well down here, 60U, 30U, 50U it was, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, you can see the FPS starting to drop because of the numbers. But yeah, 0.6 hopefully will have a vision rework, a brain rework. I think the problem at the moment is that vision is fixed. It doesn't have synapses or anything. So vision is quite set in place, and the rework should hopefully allow that to... I don't like to use the word evolve because they don't really evolve, they simply adapt. So it will allow the vision to adapt, if you want to use that term. Anyway, we've got a lot of meat going now. FPS is 20, 25. Now, turn on decay. And we should start to see that dropping quite sharply. There we go. FPS goes up to about 30. Now, this should be interesting. Increase the decay rate slightly and perishable factor slightly. So this overall reduces the total pellet count, and the total number of Bibites will follow and drop accordingly based on the pellet count dropping, which should increase the FPS. We could also go and just turn on pellet merging, which furthermore reduces the pellet count, hopefully without reducing the biomass. These Bibites are very resilient though, so it's taking them for a while to population equalize to the pellet count. Suppose we could force it a little bit more. Increase that to 8. But yeah, you can start to see the FPS climbing a bit. We were at 20 something, and we're now at 40 something. So these are some great dynamic tools to use to control the FPS if it starts to lag. We can also change the fertility to maybe 15. Yeah, I think that's definitely going to drop the count. We can actually turn off merging for now. So yeah, hopefully better things to come at 0.6, but overall, a fairly okay update. with 0.5.